for my clients, I help them access any resources that are available to them to pay for their care. Oftentimes, that's a long-term care policy. So this particular client had brought me her long-term care policy, and we knew that she met all the requirements. So we submitted a claim to start the process. We submitted that claim in February of 2024, and it honestly took us until June to get them to actually pay any money to her. So what happens is you have to file a claim. There's usually a lot of paperwork that's involved. Basically, the company makes money by not paying out. So the longer they can drag it out, the better the chance of them having a profit at the end. I tell my clients, this is your money. It's almost like the premiums you've been paying are part of this service, and now you're trying to get that company to give you your money back. Some of the companies, it's not very hard. You fill out the forms, you submit things, everything runs smoothly. Most of the time, that's not the case. And you have to be really persistent. You have to follow up. I do everything online. So when I call, I can refer them to the documents that they say that they didn't get, but I see that are part of the claim. And I tell the person on the phone, well, I see on, February 13th, you got my HIPAA form. I'm looking at it. Can you look at it? Oh, you can. So now you can talk to me about this. This particular case was really tricky because there was a lot that had to be done. This client, lovely, wonderful person, had her own health concerns. She also had a special needs daughter. There was no way that she was going to be able to be calling this company, sending them paperwork, following up, which is what I do for her. And unfortunately, the company relies on people not being able to stay on top of these things. So we went round and round with this company. Ultimately, we started the process, we sent the paperwork, then they have to do an assessment, which we were able to do via Zoom. Granted, it took a month and a half for us to even get that set up from the time. So we filed the claim in February. The assessment was the end of March. Then they decided they needed more information from the doctor. So they mailed the form they wanted to the doctor. They don't do email. They don't do fax. It was all through the mail. Of course, the doctor didn't get the form. I called the doctor, and luckily she has a really good relationship with this doctor. This doctor is very motivated to help us. She didn't get the form, so then we had to get them to send it again. I asked the policy to send me the form, and I would get it to the doctor, but they refused to do that. It could only go to the doctor's office. Finally, the doctor got the form. They sent the form back. We thought everything would now be moving along. And everything with these policies is 10 days. They have 10 days, 10 business days to review it. So what I do is after 10 days, I set myself a reminder to call them every 10 days. I'm calling them to find out what's going on. They got the form that they needed. Then they decided they needed more information from the assisted living that she was living at. No idea why. So we got that form. That form, of course, had to be mailed, never came through the mail. Then eventually we got it. Make a long story short, there was a lot of fighting, a lot of going back and forth with this company. And it took until, I think it was June 4th before they finally approved her, from February 8th to June 4th. And then it was June 26th before she actually got her check. Now, she got a really large check. It was well over $90,000. That's not typical, but because it took so long, she had been in assisted living for a while before we started the claim process, we were able to bill back. But the company is going to take as long as they can. Unfortunately, we sometimes say they deny till you die, because if they don't start paying out, they get to keep all of that money. If you die before you use your long-term care policy, all of that money goes in their pocket. In this particular case, this lady's policy benefit was well over $500,000. They paid about $130,000 before she unfortunately passed away. So they essentially got to keep almost $400,000 of her policy. If you're watching this video and you have a long-term care policy and you're thinking, oh, that's just a horrible story, I can tell you this happens all the time to a lot of people. So the things you need to know, first and foremost, I say it all the time, I don't care how nice the person on the phone is, they are not your friend. Now, yes, they're doing their job, but that company's main focus is keeping your money. They are not your friend. They are not here to make life easier for you. I do everything online. I know that's not necessarily the easiest thing for some of our seniors. If it's not for you, find either someone like me, get a family member, do things online, because then there is a digital record of the forms you sent in, of the responses that you got, of the time, the 10-day time response. If you have all of that there, when you call, they can't say, oh, I didn't have it, or we don't have permission to speak to you, or we don't know. You have it right in front of you to refer to. And be persistent. This is your money. You've essentially given them your money to invest and hold on to until you need it. Now you need it. Make them give it to you. And then probably the last thing is don't wait too long. I know a lot of people understandably worry. We don't know how long anyone's going to live. We don't know how long you're going to live with a chronic health problem. So people tend to sit on their long-term care policy because they're afraid to run out of money. But 90% of the time, that's a made-up statistic, but in my world, people die before they get the money out of their long-term care policy. And so in this particular situation, she had a 4-year policy. So it was only going to pay for 4 years regardless, but it was $500,000. So why would we not try to get the most out of those 4 years that she was in assisted living? Because again, she unfortunately had a car accident and passed away before she was able to get all of her money back from them. So do not delay and be persistent.